Hey, I'm Bret Fadely, Mid-Atlantic ACA Vice President, and I am sitting here with our Collision Division Director, Mr. Daryl Horst from Barry's Paint Shop,
That's
correct?
correct. Yep. Yes.
So, Daryl, tell us a little bit about what the Collision Division Director is and how you got into it and what you're trying to accomplish as a Division.
So yes, it's good to be part of Mid-Atlantic Auto Care Alliance here, and came on last year. My boss Barry Burkholder, Barry's Paint Shop, was collision director for AASP for years. So I was always watching everything he did with that. And of course, he gets to the age he wants to retire. So he got after me to take his place. So that's about what happened there. But
Did you
I'm
actually
excited
buy
to
the
help
business?
the. Yeah, we bought the business.
Did
Myself
you?
and his son-in-law bought the business from him. Yeah,
Okay. All
2020.
right. So, sorry to
Best
interrupt.
year out there
Yeah,
to
sorry
buy
to
something.
interrupt.
No, that's okay. Um, yeah, we bought the business from him in 2020. So that was a real good year to figure out how to run a business. But we survived, and we're
Yeah.
here on this side.
And yeah, you were kind of
Nobody wants
thrown
to go
into the
back to
fire last year. Yeah, you were kind of thrown into the fire last year with the as a collision division being appointed the director. And I will say, from my perspective, Daryl, you have really put a lot of effort into changing what the collision division is. So I'd like to hear what your vision to do with the collision guys to bring them back on board and get them more involved in associations and training.
Yes, collision guys. My vision for the collision shops is to see them come together and have a camaraderie and train together, get together, just network and help each other. I think we all know collision shops and mechanical shops. I think collision shops are worse for not working together. And I would really like to see the collision shops work together, train together, basically attack the big elephants in the room as a team instead of as individuals that just are, cutting each other's throats. So we have a lot of challenges with insurance companies, with technology, with metals and how cars are made. And that whole has really evolved over the last 10 years or so. And just everybody needs to understand ADAS is one of the key items. They need to understand there's money to be made in that part of the industry, and it's crucial that the vehicle gets repaired and those ADAS systems are working and calibrated correctly. And there's a lot of things that most shops aren't doing for under the ADAS that they should be doing. So my goal is to educate on the ADAS part of it, but also help labor rates, help the databases be fair with their times, and just overall work together to help the industry get better. Obviously, that
I tell you what.
involves
Yeah, go ahead, Daryl.
that
So yeah,
involves
as
being
far as
involved in the state level.
right, that's what I was getting ready to say. And as far as ADAS goes, the collision side has been dealing with it a lot longer than us mechanical shops on this side of the industry have. And you had mentioned some of the shops aren't doing it by the OE repair procedures. Is that correct?
Well, the shops after a vehicle, like if you take a bumper off for a minor paint job, uh, and you go put it back on, and you altered that front radar or the front camera, they need to be calibrated. They need to be aimed. And you have how many cars going through Mannheim Auto Auction that had the bumpers painted last week, and they help. No one checked those calibrations. No one checked the aiming and those kind of things. So we have vehicles on the road that aren't safe, that don't have these systems calibrated or aimed correctly. And if you have to pull the VIN number and see what options those vehicles have, and then understand what needs to be aimed every time based on what you're working on.
Yep. And we're, like I said, we're starting to see a lot of it now on the mechanical side. I'm currently not equipped to do ADAS, and I've already turned a couple of repair procedures down because I couldn't repair the vehicle properly. I know they went somewhere else to probably get it fixed, but I don't want that liability because we're service professionals. We're supposed to be fixing them safely and accurately to put them back on the road. But as far as getting the word out, you mentioned the state level. With the Mid-Atlantic ACA Alliance, we have a lobbyist, John Kulik, and I believe this coming Monday, the 12th, are we doing a legislative update via Zoom? Because there's some bills sitting in Pennsylvania at the Capitol regarding the collision side.
That is correct. The bill that's sitting there in the Capitol in regards to the collision side is in regards to hit and run situation where they want to pass a law that will require us to do extra things and basically put us on the hook if we don't report something that we feel is hit and run. So, from what I read, the law, understand it, it's more like they're going to put out an alert that this vehicle was involved in an accident and put it on the shop's back to report it if that car comes into their shop. So it's another layer of liability for the shops that we have to, now be aware of hit and runs if this becomes law.
And how does shops, whether it's mechanical or collision or whatever that's in this industry, what would your word to them say to get? How do they get this information? Do they know about it? Do they care about it? But what would you say to a shop that is not part of anything? What would you tell them the benefit of joining an association would be?
Well, joining an association, there you have to be part of something bigger than yourself. I mean, if you're just trying to survive in your little box and not getting any training, not getting any research, not getting any outside information, you're going to be on an island real soon. So the shops need to come together, train together, learn the technology, and then that's a good thing about MACA, the Mid-Atlantic Auto Care Alliance, can offer a lot of benefits along with that, with all the healthcare benefits and the oil deduction, oil program we have, and we have all the other programs we have where you can get discounts from your jobbers. So being part of Mid-Atlantic Auto Alliance, Auto Care, will give you the opportunity to know that legislative things as well as get benefits back from being part of the group, part of the camaraderie, the getting together, the training together, and helping the whole industry with knowing what to do and how to do it well.
Yep. So we have a big training event coming up here in just a few weeks in Lancaster at the Wyndham, and it's called Tools. It's always really been focused on the mechanical side, but this year we decided to try and focus and bring the collision guys in. So far, it's been a little slow in response. We're hoping that we can drive this and make this work and help advocate for new training to keep the collision side up and get them intrigued in an association, in training, and furthering their business. But tell us a little bit about what you scheduled at Tools and who the trainers are that we have coming in to teach these classes.
Yeah, there's a lot of good trainers out there. It's hard to pick which ones I want to bring in. But Friday, all day, we have Kristen Felder coming in from Collision Hub, and she's going to train us on negotiation, working with the insurance companies, working with the customers, and negotiating a fair repair. So we all know that insurance companies are always looking to cut things, and there's always something you can learn about how to negotiate with that insurance company, and in a nice way that you don't make them mad, that you don't turn them off, but that you can have a good negotiation. You can end up having repair the car properly and get compensated for doing that repair. Saturday morning, I have Danny from DEG coming in, and he is big on making sure that the estimates have every bit of time on that you can. So the databases come up with times. We all work with that, database times, but a lot of times those times are generic. They don't actually do a time study, what it takes to put in a frame rail or some inner structure panel. They just throw 10 hours at it or something. And so a technician can research that and submit it to DEG, and DEG will go to the databases and get the databases changed. So he's big on all the operations that go into it. And basically, what Danny does is help collision shops get more money on the ticket. So more time billing for everything you do and realizing all the not included items. And then Sunday morning, we have Yanni coming from Eagle MMS, and he has a program called Eagle MMS, and that is basically a program that helps you bill for body supplies and paint supplies. So we all know paint goes up all the time, body supplies go up all the time, and if you're not paying off some kind of invoicing system, you're going to, you know, the way the insurance company pay, $45 per hour or whatever they might pay, is never covering. So it's three topics that are mean a lot to me, because I want to, every time I'm writing an estimate, I want to make sure that my technicians and my estimators are putting every operation on that we're doing and that we're getting paid for. And obviously, if they got to negotiate that with the insurance company in the end, why we need all that extra time and effort and what we're doing, that's what the three classes pull together.
Well, that negotiation class, a mechanical shop could benefit from that, because we deal with extended warranties, which is basically the insurance companies. So a mechanical shop could benefit from maybe learning how to negotiate, because I know me personally, I can sometimes piss them off. When they tell me they're going to pay me $50 an hour, I'll tell them, what is this, 1970? We're in, sorry, buddy, we're in 2025. It's not $50 an hour. But speaking on that, you had mentioned it. For the body shops, you guys for years have been dealing with these insurance companies paying you $30, $35, $40, $45 an hour. I am not a collision guy. How does that work in your industry, being a DRP, to be susceptible to accepting that and then turn around and make a profit? Where is that profit margin for you collision shops if the insurance company is only willing to do X amount of dollars?
Well, that's where a collision shop has to make it up in efficiency. So you can't bill hour for hour. You have to bill book time and for every operation, and then you got to build systems and processes, and that's where shops can help each other. You build systems and processes where you can be efficient, more efficient than 100% efficient, but with so much per hour for paint materials, you have to use an invoicing system or you will always come up short. So all the DRPs and all the insurance companies that we work with, most of them, there's a couple pushing back, but most of them will pay an invoice for paint materials and body materials. And that's where so many shops, if you're not aware of that and you're just taking what they give you, it's costing you to paint the car. You're paying more for the paint than they're paying you.
Yeah, I know I've heard some wild stuff that some of the paint costs like $900 a quart and all that stuff. And I can
crazy.
only imagine.
Yeah, you get in the reds and the bright blue, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and isn't red some of the most popular stolen vehicles, that color? I don't know.
It is, yeah. They stand out.
Sometimes
they're flashy.
Sometimes I wish somebody would steal my 99 Chevy Suburban, though.
So you catch an insurance check and go get something else.
But in order for the collision guys, and Daryl, like I said before, you are putting a lot of effort into your position as a collision director. You have put a lot of effort into trying to bring the collision people to tools. We're going to have some vendors there that are collision representatives. You got the three people coming in: Kristen, Danny, and Yanni.
Danny, yeah. Yep.
What training is out there? Do the collision shops go to a lot of training like us mechanical shops? Is it around that we just don't hear about it because I'm not in the collision side?
There really isn't a lot available. I actually talked to a collision director. He runs like 8 or 10 shops today for Fred Beans. Actually, Fred Beans is going to be there as a vendor, for parts if people want to talk to them about buying parts from Fred Beans. But their collision shops, I talked to him, and he is really interested in doing training because Zimmerman's Auto Body Supplies is one of the other vendors with us that sponsored us. They own their own. The last couple of years have been supplying at least one training event a year for body shops. But outside of the Northeast show, which is up in Jersey once a year, and the Southeast show, which is down in Virginia, there's nothing really in the general Lancaster area, PA, Eastern PA, on a regular basis. And that's what I'd like to see change. That we would be training on a regular basis,
with that being,
at least twice a year.
Yeah, with that being said, we can get what movement we have at Tools for this year. We can build upon that momentum and bring more training. We could use our Super Saturday event and Tools and get your twice a year in this area. So if you haven't looked at Tools, know what Tools is, know what the Mid-Atlantic Auto Care is, it's a perfect opportunity. You have a huge advocate here on the collision side with Daryl. Go to Mid-Atlantic ACA.org and check out what the benefits are, what a membership in Mid-Atlantic Auto Care would be like. If you go to the events and look up Tools, it's not too late to register. We've got a couple weeks. It's May 28th to June 1st is the entire event. You can still register for Tools. Unfortunately, I think the hotel was sold out, so there's other opportunities around to get lodging. But if you're local, you don't need a hotel. I guess, are you guys driving every day in?
Yeah, I'm only 20 minutes away. So, yeah.
So it's a perfect opportunity. Yep. Perfect opportunity in South Central PA to come build upon your skills, find some options to improve your business. We're going to have a trade show both Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon to see what products and services are out there that can be benefit you. You'll be able to meet Daryl. He'll be there. We're always open to collision ideas on what we can do to improve it. I know Daryl has brought a ton to the table as our division director. And I can only see where the collision industry can go. Can we bring everybody together? I remember years back in the day, you could never get the collision guys in the room. They were always afraid of that shop down the street into the same room. But can we break that mold and start something and change not only the mechanical side, but change the collision side as well, and lock arms and improve the industry? I think we can. What do you say, Daryl?
I think the time is right to, instead of working against each other, embracing the opportunities and the helping each other succeed. There's plenty of work to go around, and there's more and more cars in every county that's not New York City anymore. So, the work's there, and there's no reason not to work together. But as we work together, we can all get better. And obviously, we want to be doing what's right for the consumer and what's right for the cars. And then we got to make sure the insurance company takes care of us on that end. So, yeah, I think it's a prime time to start working together instead of against each other.
Yeah, and if the more of people that can come together, the more bargaining power you're going to have with that big dog, the insurance company. If they start to see there's pushback, it might start to change a little bit.
Well, and it does. I mean, everything years ago, it all started out with pre and post scanning before and after an accident. And, obviously the insurance company didn't know what that was, didn't want to pay it unless it had a check engine light on and all these kind of things. And, through a lot of educating from body shops is what they required on their estimates now for pre and post scan. So the same thing with ADAS, it's like they want the people to be safe. They want the cars repaired properly. They'd like to have it for free, which they can't. Neither can we have anything for free. So, we just have to learn how to be diplomatic about it.
Yeah, and not piss them off, right?
Right. Yeah.
Now, I want my insurance coverage for free too. So,
yeah.
Anyways, Daryl, thanks for joining me here. Let's see if we can bring the collision guys to Tools, to a training event, get them involved to help further this industry. I know we have a huge person we got that used to be the collision division director and the past president of Alliance of Automotive Service Providers, Mr. Chetalaya. So we do have one big advocate that can help us proceed this and keep it moving forward and change the industry.
Yeah, make it better for everybody.
Let's make it better. Daryl, we'll see you in a couple of weeks at Tools. And thanks again for joining me on here.
Bret, it's been a pleasure.
Yep.
Good evening. Have a good night.
Thank you.